and then segue that into opening up the link for signing up for the free one-on-one consultations, and then also the micro grants. I think before we do that, though, it'd be great to just hear a little bit about everyone who's here, and just so kind of do a round robin of just your name and the business that you have on the Avenue, and then one thing that you'd like to be getting out of this session. So I'll just go, maybe just call on people to go down the list for the sake of time. Angela, do you mind going kicking us off?
I'm Angela. I'm from North Star Bar on Payne Avenue. I want to make the outside of our bar match the inside because it's been completely remodeled, and make it a little more inviting and beautiful for the Avenue.
Great. Brian?
My name is Brian Laughlin. I'm with Donald's Uniform on Payne Avenue, and I would like to make our storefront more welcoming.
Great. Molly? Good to see you.
I'm Molly with Brunson's Pub, and also the president of PAVA right now. Brunson's on Payne Avenue, and you know, we did our storefront, so I'm more in this just to learn all about what we're doing, so I can talk to all the other businesses about it and help just be kind of a resource for them.
Great. Yesenia?
Okay. My name is Yesenia, and I have a hair salon inside the Plaza Latina. And I would like something more colorful outside, and above my suites, I would like the logo, the name, something that's more appealing, maybe a mural, something.
Great. Kelly?
Hi, I'm Kelly Gustavson. I am at House of Payne, and I'm not open yet, but I'm basically starting from the bottom up. I don't have any signage. I don't have anything going on outside yet. So kind of really thrilled to have this opportunity to kind of hit the ground running with lots of ideas. So thank you very much for doing this for us.
Yeah, glad to have you here. Ryan?
I'm Ryan Hughesby with Tongue in Cheek, also treasurer of PABA and a member of the Reboot steering committee. And I am joining because it's been about 6 or 7 years since we opened, really, since we've done any real improvements to the exterior of our space. And while I'm generally pretty happy with it, always looking for ideas and things we can do to improve it.
Great. And Jerry?
Hey there. My name's Jerry Schaefer, and I own Jerry's Roses down on Payne Avenue. And I'm just hoping, I'm due for some new signage and looking for some new signage and some new ideas for it.
Yeah, great. And then Ella and I are also joined. I didn't see Judy, who's our colleague for Business District Services, in addition to myself and Ella, who are in the planning and design side. And then before we kick it off, Claire, Stefan, anything you want to say on behalf of ESNDC or the Payne Avenue Reboot?
Sorry, Max, did we catch Angela on introductions?
Yes, we did. We started with Angela, didn't we?
Oh, sorry. Must have been before I started note taking.
That's okay.
And we actually have one more business owner that's joining as well.
Oh, great. Just wait till it's audio. And Claire, could you let me share too?
Yeah, definitely. I think that should still allow me to keep recording, but just in case if it stops, that might be you as well.
Okay. Bob, if you can hear us, we're just doing introductions. If you could just, I don't know if you can hear us yet, but.
Well, I'm Steve Kistler. I'm with the Payne Area Reboot. My job is to go to all the local bars. So I just came from North Star. It's a wonderful place inside, and I hope we can change the outside to reflect that. No, just kidding aside, we're really excited to have you all participate in this program. And cannot wait to see what all will happen to the different storefronts. Thank you all for coming.
And I'm Claire Thomas. I'm the Economic Development Coordinator at Eastside Neighborhood Development Company. And yeah, like Stefan said, just so excited to have you here. And I'll put my contact information in the chat in case anyone has any additional questions afterwards about how to get connected to the one-on-one services or learn more about the grants.
Great. And Bob, we're all just saying your name, your affiliation, your business, and then what you hope to get out of this session today.
Oh, my name's Bob Anderson, Anderson Shoes, and just to find out what it's all about tonight.
Great. Thank you for being here. Okay. Without any further ado, we'll dive in, and if other people join in, we'll just add them in as we go. So just as a quick background, the Musicant Group, our mission and our service is to create places where people want to be. We do that by delivering design, events, and on-site management services. And we work with a whole host of organizations like main streets like Payne Avenue, public spaces, small businesses such as yourselves, mobility, uses, commercial real estate developers, municipalities, and more. And again, we're just really honored to be here with you all and appreciate the time that you're dedicating to making your storefront better and the whole avenue more vibrant. The agenda today, as I alluded to, is we're going to start off with kind of like at a high level why placemaking matters for small businesses. I think some of this will be kind of things you already know and feel, but I think it'll be important for us to kind of ground ourselves in why this practice of placemaking and the customer experience is ever more important. Two, then we'll go into the placemaking process that you all can use for your storefronts, but you can also use it in any space inside or outside your business going forward. We'll then talk about some tactical ideas that you all can implement and that we're thinking about potential microgrant applications. And then the fourth, we'll look at some other examples of how these processes have been applied for really not much cost for other small businesses. And we'll make sure we have time for questions at the end. So to kick things off, why does a sense of place matter for your business and other small businesses? We like to think about sort of this pyramid of how do you create sort of value through a sense of place. And at the end, at the onset, it's all about creating positive and useful experiences. Now, the useful experiences here for your businesses are what are the core goods and services that you're providing? And then how can we make it a positive and pleasant experience within doing so? That's really the name of the game. And if we can do that together, people will inevitably start patronizing your businesses more. They'll start visiting Payne Avenue more. And that starts to establish positive habits and routines. And that's really where the power of this approach comes from, is how can we create experiences that get people to come back again and again and again, whether that's daily, weekly, or even habitually on an annual basis. And it's those habits and routines which give you all as business owners that consistent customer base, the certainty to invest, the reliability of income, but it also is the foundation that supports like social relationships between your customers and yourself, between customers to customer, other neighbors, etc. And it creates an emotional bond between people, but also between the customers and the physical place itself in your business, especially for those of you who have been around for a while. I'm sure many of your customers and certainly yourself have an emotional connection to your business, which is one reason why they keep coming back. And that what's so important and valuable about that is that people can't take that with them. So no matter what sort of merchandise shows up online or what other sort of bright and shiny stores or offerings are provided somewhere else, people have that emotional connection that they cannot replicate in some other place. So the more that we can do within each one of your businesses and within the whole Payne Avenue district in general to create that emotional bond and that connection to the place, the more value that we're going to create to, support your bottom line. But then that also creates that social value and community value, which is so important too. And so if we look at sort of what online big box retailers do well versus what small scale bricks and mortar and kind of main streets do well, we'll kind of see that there's just inherently some like strengths and weaknesses for each side. At a meta level, online retailers and big box kind of assume that the experience of shopping is not that pleasant, and that they should minimize the amount of time it takes to sort of desire something and purchase something. And that all that and all the time it takes in between there is really not great. On the flip side, small businesses and Main Street, the experience of actually like making that purchase or getting that service or enjoying that entertainment is part of the benefit of shopping at a small business or a Main Street. And so we really want to lean into that. And so other advantages that online and big box will always have, and so we can just accept that. We need to like do well enough, but we're never going to beat online or Amazon at these things, is all the different product information that they can provide. But what we can do better is offer much better touch, trial, and sensory stimuli of the actual product. What they can do better is provide limitless selection and price comparisons. What we can do better, or you all can do better, is curating what's actually there so people don't feel so overwhelmed. They can know that there's a trusted source that's picking out that merchandise, and you can offer far better in-person service. The online and big box will offer speed and being able to purchase something. The benefit of bricks and mortar obviously is people being able to walk out the store with it once they've been able to buy it. Big box will always have better parking. Main Street, our competitive advantage is better walking and biking access, but not only, and the walking and biking experience. The big box and online is consistent. It's always the same. It's also boring. We can offer a more unique, customized, and something that's new and dynamic on an ongoing basis, and that is able to evolve. You get in and out convenience in a big box and online. You get much more opportunities for social interaction and lingering, and the social capital building in a Main Street like Payne. And overall, this creates a very forgettable experience for big box and online, but the opportunity to create memories and emotional attachment for places like Payne Avenue and your businesses. So as we think about what to do, we want to lean into the places where we're already going to be better than the competition, which is around creating a wonderful and dynamic customer experience, both within your individual businesses and in the district overall. So with that, I also want to ground us in that you all already have what you need to start this process. You all have already built businesses, which requires a tremendous amount of problem solving and creativity and savvy already. And just making those places better, making that experiences better, enhancing the spaces to make those customer experiences even better and form those memories and relationships. You all already have the things that you need, both in terms of your know-how, your resources, and the insights you have. We're going to give you some other processes and tools to help you even more, but you all already have what you need to get started and make a difference. So this may seem like a silly question, but what is your business? A big part of it is it's a way for people to buy goods and services, which is at the core of what we're all doing as business owners. But it's not the only thing that your business is. It can also be a platform for socialization, to getting news and information, celebrating occasions, to provide jobs, a place to learn and teach others, to be in community with people, to showcase all of your own passions and creativity. And I'd like to open it up here for you all to like, what are some of the other things beyond just the core goods and services that you provide? What are some of those other things that your businesses are places to do something else? Ryan, I'm going to call on you. I'm going to start calling people. Ryan, can you kick us off with an answer? And whether it's on this list or something else that's not listed, what is something else beyond buying food and beverages? What else does your business provide a platform for?
Well, we provide a place for people to come and have, we like to say, we provide a place for people to have an experience that involves food and drink, but is more than that, and it's unique and something they can't get other places. It's also a place for people to gather with their friends, coworkers, family members, and a lot of times they're celebrating special occasions or just unwinding from the world. So it's just, yeah, kind of a place for people to connect and enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Place to
Yesenia?
escape and try new things.
Sorry, go for it.
As similar to Ryan, it's a place for people to kind of escape, let loose, try new things, try a new beer, try something, kind of experiment with flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So all
Great.
the
Yeah, place to see something new, experience something new. It's great. Anyone else? All right, those were great answers. Just to be forewarned, there will be more questions, so get ready. Excuse me. So with that, what is your storefront? You know, ideally, it's the face of your business. It's the physical place that reflects your business and engages your customers. Or, you know, it potentially doesn't reflect all the great things that happen inside. But ideally, what we want to aspire to is that it's a place that really communicates that energy and brings them inside. So how can your storefront be an engaging place? By being a gateway that sort of greets people inside, a canvas for art or other creativity, a place to display your wares, a place to sit, an interesting place to wait, a venue to promote yourself or other items in the community, an invitation to either come in or do some other activity, or even a venue for entertainment. And I love this business here. It's a used furniture store in downtown Hopkins. And as you can see, it really just started as a relatively blank, you could even call ugly cinder block building without really any ornamentation or character. And the owner here has been very creative in just adding some very simple painted elements and displaying their furniture and some, outside that also provides places for people to wait and socialize a bit. So without much money here, but some creativity, they've really transformed this space. What else could a storefront be? Or what else does your storefront serve as a venue for? Kelly, do you have thoughts on this?
I have a feeling that my storefront's going to be very eclectic once I finally get things rolling, as is this venue. It's going to be primarily a performance venue for jazz and blues performers.
Great.
And it's also has been set up in the past as kind of a really cool destination place for people who want to get really dressed up. So it's kind of a funky, fun atmosphere, taking you back in time. So that's kind of what I'm trying to capture, and will be trying to capture outside, is that, what is this place? It looks like something from the 40s, and that's exactly what I'm going for. So
your storefront could be a venue for some promenading.
Yes, well, it's funny you said that, because I have all of these prom dresses, and when we had our street art gallery last fall, I gave a whole bunch of prom dresses so people could promenade with the prom.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
It's kind of weird that you said that, but anyway. All right. But yes, that's exactly kind of what I'm looking for it to be. So
great. So how can we strengthen your business's sense of place with these frameworks? One is to kind of like starting off by thinking about the ideal customer journey. A customer needs to start off by first knowing about your business, obviously, and then coming to engage, and then eventually patronize whatever's inside, stay within your business and spend some money, and then ideally share and return. So this is the journey that we want to be able to support through all of your services and like the physical spaces in your storefront. And so a process to support that journey is fourfold. We want to define who your customers are, figure out what their kind of like overall wants and needs are. 2, walk at least a block in their own customer's shoes, craft a vision, and take some action. For step number 1, defining your customers, it's nice to think about what are the key characteristics of your main customer types. And I'm sure you kind of know this already, as being owners, but think about the main sort of like categories that define who comes to your business. They could be defined by age or family type. Are they local versus destination tourists? Are they coming with guests? Do they have a certain cultural affinity differences, different income levels? And just think about kind of like, who is that general persona we sometimes call it, and what defines that group or several groups of people that are patronizing your businesses. And once we kind of know who they are and what their desires are, let's literally kind of walk a couple blocks in their shoes. Kind of imagine yourself as one of your customers, one of the different customer types, and step outside of your business and think about how they would arrive to your business. Where are they going to park, or do they come from the bus? Are they walking from the neighborhood? Are they biking? If they're a parent, are they going to have a stroller with them? If they're elderly, are they going to have other mobility questions or issues or challenges? But think about who those different groups are. Really start the journey from where they would go and see what that experience is like. Or you can also ask them directly. And as you're kind of going through and really kind of like embodying those different customer types, think about, what are some of the questions you can ask yourself? What is the journey to your business like? What is there that supports what they want to be able to do and what you want your customers to be able to do? What do they want to do or you want them to do, but they can't or are limited by or frustrated by? And what are the best parts within your store, the best experiences, the best merchandise, the best services, the best designs? And of those, what of those can be also found outside your store to give people a taste about what's within and to really engage them and pull them inside? So some other questions: how far away can people see your storefront sign and or merchandise? How many things are there to do outside and within your businesses, in addition to your core services? Going back to those lists of like areas to socialize, places to sit down, wait, maybe getting like some food samples or beverages. What are those other sort of support experiences that can really drive additional traffic to your core business? And once you catalog what is there, how can you create more there which are aligned with what you're doing? And then finally, we're in a 4-season state, are there seasonal specific features, especially in the winter time, that could be valuable, that provide some addition, that meet some other needs that are unique to the colder months in particular? So once you've kind of figured out who your customers are and what they want to be able to do, we can craft our vision for what your vision for your storefront is and what you want it to accomplish, as well as any other space within your business or your business overall. And so once you've defined that vision of what you want to accomplish, you can catalog what is present and missing that supports your customers to do that 4-step journey of knowing, engaging, staying, and then sharing and returning. And what's also critical here is the present and missing. We want to catalog the things that are really working well, that support what you want your customers doing that is already there. And then also the missing, not what's wrong, but what do you wish was there that isn't? And really think about what additional items would really support a better customer experience that support your business. And then looking at that missing list, start to prioritize them. What looks like is the biggest thing to add, the most important issue to address, the things that are going to have the biggest impact on your businesses, and then start to address those first and foremost, or the things that are also easiest to implement. And then the final step, implementation, taking action. And again, you already have what you need to start to make a difference. Look at the things that you already have in your store or in storage areas to try some things out, whether it's on your shop floor or outside. The name of the game really is to try and test and adjust. Put some things out there, try some configuration, see how customers are responding to it, see how you feel about it, and be able to adjust until it feels right and you're observing the customer behavior, doing what you want and is benefiting your business. And finally, make your story and your passion and your mission of your organization visible in your business and your storefront and within. So now that we have a process to follow, and we're big about process because we don't just want to copy the things that worked in other places and apply them to our own context, because our own, the uniqueness of Payne Avenue and the uniqueness of your own businesses is really important to incorporate. So we can be inspired by other places, but we really want to make sure that whatever we do is really done through the process of serving your unique customers in your unique space with your unique sort of personality and vision in there. But with that, there are some tactical steps that we can apply, these 5 sort of window frames, because I'm a sucker for puns, to enhance a sense of place for your business and storefront. So the first of which is to follow the desire lines. And thinking about how do people get to your business, which we've talked a lot about. And so the kind of the 4 points of that journey are: people notice the business, then they sort of are walking in front of your storefront and hopefully are engaged with something that's outside. Then they look within your store through windows or doors to see what's inside, to be confident and interested once they've already engaged the outdoor area. And then they transition into that store. So making sure that pathway is really clear and engaging and exciting. And two examples that I'm always inspired by is first, Cooks of Crocus Hill in St. Paul, which is on the northern photo here. They've got a unique challenge in that they're set back from the street and they have bad sight lines in from the corner into their establishment. And they've done a lot of really creative things to really engage people and bring the activity of their setback storefront all the way to the street through that awning that goes all the way to the sidewalk. They've got some great colorful seating out that you can see as well as some like vegetable planting, which is really analogous with their the cooking ware that they're selling inside. The second inspiration, which is kind of ironic for this talk, is Walmart. And something that they figured out was that having a greeter that says hello to people and welcomes people into the store really makes a dramatic difference in terms of both boosting sales, but also reducing shopper theft. And so just that act of acknowledging someone with a pleasant hello and greeting them when they come in increases sales and decreases sort of negative activity as well. So that the journey continues all the way when it's into your store, and having that welcoming transition is a big bonus too. The second framework is a place to sit. It sounds pretty basic, but a place to sit, rest, and wait really allows shoppers, and just as critically their guests, to spend more time and really invite social connection, which is a huge benefit, especially as we emerge out of COVID. And so a place to sit really elongates the amount of time that a customer is going to stay in your store. And the longer they're in the store, the more they're likely to spend more money. And this is especially true, as I just mentioned, for guests. If people are oftentimes coming with other people in their party, and those other people aren't always necessarily interested in the things that are inside your store. And that's okay, but we want to provide ways for people to feel comfortable and engaged while they wait for their other people that they came with. And if the primary shopper knows that the people that they came with are comfortable and have something to do, they're going to feel much more at ease and spend more time in your store. And the whole group will be much more comfortable and interested in coming back because they know that the whole party will be engaged every time they come back. So lots of different ways to provide that: movable seating, benches, even ledges, parklets, planters you can kind of lean up on. Also providing free Wi-Fi, especially if people are going to be there for a while, so people can engage on their phones and maybe have an outlet to plug into as well, or a laptop. And also when you're placing the seating, making sure that people's backs are protected. People don't like sitting in areas where there's a lot of like activity, whether it's by humans or cars or other traffic that's behind them. And so make sure that there's seating that's up against a wall or a ledge or some other sort of like surface that people feel comfortable. The third one is to provide surprise and delight. So really encouraging you to get creative, express yourself, and get noticed. One of my favorite storefront features in all the Twin Cities is on Payne Avenue, of the giant screw that's coming out of the hardware store. And I think there's just great opportunities to have like whimsy that is really analogous with whatever the store is selling. And so, yeah, this can be through art, features, other branding or signage, which can be really interesting, window displays, outdoor merchandising, or rotating messages. The fourth one is to engage the five senses. I think we're always really heavy on visual, but we've got 4 other faculties that can be ways to engage. Certainly for anyone that's selling food, smell is so connected to memory that can be a really powerful draw to bring people in. But also in terms of outdoor merchandising, sort of touching and hearing things can be really powerful as well. One of the most sensory rich merchandising experiences that I've ever had is in Little Italy in New York, where you've got an array of music and visual interests and hosts trying to pull you in with deals into their restaurants with free samples and other things like that. We certainly don't need to go to that extent, but I think it's a great inspiration that we can sort of get inspiration from. And the final one is to frame the experience, and that we want to focus people's attention on the things that we want them to really look at, which is your windows that have the merchandising and other views into the store, and then also the doorway that we ultimately want them to pass into and to come in and patronize. And so thinking about the borders around those spaces to make sure those those are really rich and dynamic and focus in what we want people to see. And so that can be done through, just general lighting, as well as string lighting for borders, colorful windows and door frames, awnings, plantings, furniture, also just like named signage, etc. And so with that, we'll dive into some case studies to show about how some of these strategies have been deployed in low cost, high impact ways. And we're going to, in particular, look at a number of storefronts that we worked with in downtown Hopkins. Each one of these businesses received a $500 sort of micro investment and some consultation, similar to what's available here. You all are actually eligible for a larger grant, which is great. But these investments led to a pretty dramatic impact, with many businesses experiencing an increase in the amount of people who stop by and notice their storefront, new conversations with customers, people being attracted to inside the stores, and people spending more time within their facility. Now, again, it wasn't 100% across all participants, but there was general impact across everyone that participated, and with such a small investment amount, is really a great return on the activity. The first one we'll look at is the Kitty Wampus Toy Store, which is has a dynamic, engaging storefront on Main Street, but they were on a corner and had a side wall as well. And that side wall is actually what the sort of a performing arts center was right across the street, and that was kind of their main view of the store, and it wasn't really that engaging, and it had a lot of kids there that would be potential customers. They also had a parking lot in the back, and so the experience of walking from the parking lot all the way to the front door was not really as exciting or interesting as like being in the store. So they really wanted to do two things: create something that would engage the youth and families that were coming to the art center across the street, and also create a better experience for people who are coming into from their parking lot in the back. And so in walking the site, we saw that they had this unused door and a decommissioned mail slot that wasn't being used anymore. And in conversations, also the store owner was revealed that people are always asking her what a wampus is, because the store name was Kitty Wampus, and she didn't really have a great answer. But we thought of, there's oftentimes these little elfin doorways where people leave letters and things like that around the Twin Cities. And we thought, what a great opportunity here to maybe lean into that and have a similar opportunity using this unused mail drop. And so just with a little bit of money and color, adding in this explanation of like what a wampus is, and then inviting kids to write letters to it. And what's great is this is now an engaging activity that provides a memorable experience. And then the best part is that in order to see what the wampus responded to your letter, you have to go inside the store to see. So this creates a really fun repeat activity that creates really dynamic memories. And it's also engaging for adults to imagine and do this with their kids, to write their letters on their way to their store. The second is Health Source Chiropractic. This is a chiropractic business that opened up on the edge of downtown in a storefront that wasn't the best design. It was kind of set back from the street. The sight lines weren't great. She didn't have the most visible signage that was allowed. And she'd been there for a couple of years, and people had failed to she felt that people really still didn't know that she was there. And so was getting pretty frustrated, and so was really wanting to increase her awareness. And so in being in her store, we noticed that she had, like many chiropractors, a lot of skeletons, just like literal, synthetic skeletons kind of in the store for demonstration purposes. And we saw an opportunity to kind of use that as a mascot and to bring that skeleton outside, which would be something that would be fun and noticeable, but also really consistent with her business. And that she had the idea then of dressing up the mascot, which she named Bones, on a seasonal basis with things like Vikings attire, or like she had a Santa costume on him in the winter time. And this served to really enhance her visibility. Now, it didn't correlate one-to-one of like people seeing the skeleton and now they're going to get a chiropractor service, but it did really help the whole community know that there was now a chiropractor in downtown. And then that word of mouth was able to spread, and it had that local landmark of being able to point people to where it was because of the very visible, fun feature that was always outside of her business. And then when a Star Tribune article profiled it, she was able to get some press there, which was helpful for her. The third example is LTD Brewing, which was still is a popular brewery located just off Main Street. And that was kind of the problem for them, as people were constantly kind of not knowing where they were, even when they wanted to go. And so because they didn't have a storefront on that Main Street. And so there were some limitations. They couldn't have a sign on the main avenue because they didn't have their business wasn't located there. And so they also wanted to support biking because they were close to a couple bike shops there. So kind of understanding that problem, seeing that we could use the micro grant to create a bike billboard and getting kind of creative with what sidewalk signage can look like. And so installing a logo of theirs onto a bike and then being able to kind of lock it to a bike lock or a bike parking stand on Main Street, pointing people to their business around the street. So that communicated not only where they were to people who were looking for them, but also really cemented that they cared about the biking community and were inviting them into their establishment. And so with those examples, I wanted to use the rest of our time here to think about how we can apply these to a storefront that is already on Payne Avenue, the Art at 967. And so I'd like to open it up here for people to kind of just spitball through this process. And with that, kind of, let's start with, what do you think customers want to be able to do when they're coming to Art at 967? Molly, do you want to kick us off with some ideas? There's no wrong answers here.
Specifically at this building, you're saying, right?
Yeah, specifically for this building. So what do people want to do, or what do we want customers to do here?
I would say, I mean, Stefan maybe wants to grab this one, but I would say we want them to know that there's art going on in there, and the windows are great to show us in there, but there's, no signage.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be, I don't know, I guess.
Yeah.
That there's art in there.
Yeah, that's great. Stefan, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, shame on us. I mean, those people who look inside, they may discover what it is, but it is not obvious. We have invested a fair amount of time building it out, but we have not invested enough effort signaling to the outside what it is. And one of my most amazing experiences about this place, as beautiful as it is inside, and I should set up a video camera. You may actually be able to use it for future meetings like this. You could record for 2 or 3 hours and see all sorts of people walk by, take a quick stop, look in, and continue walking. Not a single person dares knocking at the window or coming in and inquiring what it is. So something is totally preventing them from bumping into this.
Yep.
As large as the windows are. The windows are beautiful, they're natural, but nobody stops. It's almost like you need a speed bump on the sidewalk for someone to trip. And
yes. Well, that's a great insight. And I also want to stop and say there's no shame here. There's no talking about shoulda, woulda, couldas. That we're meeting us all where we're at, and we're all gonna make it a little bit better. So that's a great insight, though, that people are looking in, they're curious, but they're moving fast. That's one of the really important features of outdoor merchandise, because you don't always, it's not really about selling the stuff, the product that's outside, but it's a great tool to slow people down. And that's what really what we want to do. We want to stop the momentum that people have of continuing to move past your storefront, get them to slow down, get a little taste about what is inside, look up, and that's going to dramatically increase their likelihood of coming inside. That Walmart greeter does the same thing. When you're walking into a store or any establishment, we got a lot of movement, momentum. And so by slowing us down right away with a friendly greeting, that then starts to make the customer a lot more, it slows them down, it makes them more deliberate, more calm, and allows them to spend more time in their store. So great insight. So Molly, as Molly said, we want people to know there's art inside. And as Stefan mentioned, we want people to slow down and actually come inside. So
Well, Molly, of course, wants a sign in our window saying, "Come over to Brunson's and have a nice beer," but
yeah,
that's not what we offer.
well, that's what go to the whole district. We want people then to have like multiple experiences here. You know, that's another sort of like that's like a district-wide experience we want people to have then.
I think that's another thing we do want to accomplish, that people have a reason to stop in more than one spot and learn
Yeah.
from a lot about other spots.
So let's see, anyone else, what are other ideas for what we want customers to do, or else we'll then go into that brainstorming. Okay, so how could we support, thinking about the 5 different frameworks and any other ideas that come to your mind, how could we, through desire lines, places to sit, surprise and delight, engaging the 5 senses, or framing the experience, and any other inspirations we've just seen, how could we get people to understand more that there's art inside and get people to slow down and actually come within? And again, there's no bad ideas here. We just want whatever comes to mind here.
Put some art in the window.
Yep, great. Love that idea.
You could literally have art like coming outside, like you could even have the signage be like a changing sign with like new artists that are coming in or something.
Yeah, love it.
I think it would be great if when people are there and the doors are unlocked, Stefan, is if there was a sign on the outside that says, "We're open, come in, come see what we're doing." You know, so it's a big invitation. I know sometimes, you know, I love going to art galleries, but I wouldn't necessarily know, is this a place where stuff is for sale? It's also a place, you know, it's a collaborative co-working space. I mean, I think it's, you know, or a home of 16 artists or something like that.
Yeah.
That would make people want to walk through the door and knock on the door, even if, you know, and it's funny because that just happened today when I had a meeting at Stefan's place. These 2 guys came and knocked on the door and they're like, "What is this place?"
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think something like that would really get people to stop and go, "Wow, I kind of want to go in and look at that."
I think though it's still all, and now I know I'm gonna make a lame excuse, but to me, it still all starts with a vision and passion by the business owner. I'm not the owner of this building. I have invested a lot of volunteer time into it, but at some point the owner needs to step up and yeah, turn this into a successful business. So
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of echo what Kelly said. I kind of, even though I know this building and I know, you know, I'm involved, I kind of don't know what exactly it is. I know people do art there, but to Kelly's point, I don't know if you can go buy art there. I don't know if the artists want people knocking on the doors and coming in, or if there's hours of operation or any of that. So yeah, that could all be helpful for sure.
Maybe another question then, how could this building and what happens within it support other businesses in downtown or along Payne Avenue? Yesenia or Angela, are there ways that this business and what's happening at this building could support your businesses?
They used to have pictures of, I know I went in one time and they had a picture of the girls working at the restaurant, which I thought was cool because it kind of brought in the Latino culture in there, like that.
Yeah.
And I know like Cadence and maybe Tongue in Cheek has done things where they put art on the walls, and I think they sell some of it. So it maybe almost the other way around, but you know, vice versa. If there's art that's being created in this space that could be potentially showcased at other businesses, then it's just a cross marketing type of a thing.
I mean, I have a wall that's blank that would love beautiful things on it.
There you go.
And I think that Stefan's photography, which is inside Art at 967, you can't see it from the outside. And I don't think that his art is what's featured in the windows right now, but Stefan's photo project of Up and Down Payne Avenue features lots of other Payne Avenue and art, well, mostly Payne Avenue businesses, and that kind of features other, or, you know, points people to other businesses in that way, just in a very artistic way, without people feeling like they're being advertised too.
Great. Well, with the last 10 minutes here, I want to make sure we have open up time for your questions. So I'll just close up here real quick. I want to highlight that we have a number of free resources on our website. We've got 3 toolkits, one around friendly front yards, if you want to do residential focus in your own personal life, but we have a friendly storefronts toolkit. We also have one for Main Streets overall. And also over the last year, we've developed 3 COVID toolkits. One focused on parks and streets, another one for businesses and business districts, and then one also specific to the winter time, which obviously we're not in now, but maybe relevant again as we get, you know, as the summer closes out. So we also have free one-on-one consultations for businesses up and down the avenue, and so please do sign up for those, and we really look forward to working with you all through those, and then getting sort of distributing the grant funds to a subset of those folks who are participating in those. And the consultations are not just passive. We don't just come and give you some ideas and walk away. Oftentimes there are real tangible improvements that come out of our hour together just in that alone. And so with that, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I really, you know, the businesses and small businesses and main streets like Payne Avenue are really the bedrock of our community. And I know what it takes to be a small business owner, and it takes a lot. And so I just appreciate everyone's efforts here and dedicating an hour of their time this afternoon. So thank you again on behalf of the Musicant group and ESNDC, who's hosting us, and the Payne Avenue Reboot. And with that, I want to just open it up for questions from this group.
So what do you all look at when you come and do a consultation at a storefront?
Yeah, great question. So we'll kind of go through the frameworks and the questions here. A lot of that is we'll dig in a little bit more to understanding your individual business, your customer base, and then really thinking about kind of the experiences that customers will want to have, that you want to be able to better support, that we think may be able to support your enterprise more. And then we'll also take a look at what you already have in place in terms of physical things or other features or amenities that we think could be adjusted and deployed even in that moment to create a better experience, and other things that may take a little bit more work but are still realizable. We're very conscious of sort of time and money, and not that they're not available in infinite amounts. And so coming up with the analysis and then a very workable and tangible and achievable list of recommendations that you'll be able to implement on your own going forward, and potentially with those additional grant funds as well. And we've probably done this consultation for 50 to 100 businesses over the last 5 years. Are there any specific questions here about things that are kind of you're struggling with for your own business that you just like some ideas on, or yeah, that we can provide some insights for?
I know I've been told several times that people don't realize that we're open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, I've bought different lighting for the flood lightings that are different colors. I've done a couple different things, but I'm still not having that foot traffic.
Yeah. What how much sidewalk space do you have in front of your store?
Like half a block.
But width, how much space is there between your storefront and the curb?
I'm not really sure.
Like a normal sidewalk, right? Just
Yeah.
5 feet maybe, or 4.
Oh, okay, so it's pretty tight.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what it is. It's
I mean, at least 5 to 6 feet.
Yeah. Well, so you say you've got floodlighting in there right now? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
And in the
Sometimes, like-
front, there's floodlighting. So I bought LED lights that change colors. So
Oh,
they
nice.
would gradually change colors, kind of, like not intense blinking, but just color changing. So it would set a mood to kind of draw people's attention over to
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah. I mean, I think we go back to some of those other frameworks. Sometimes string lights also provide a little other visual interest and usually are never found in places that are not open. Other things would be A-frame sign to put outside. Also, I'm not sure now that it's getting warmer out, if you have your door open all the time, for people just to come in when the business is open itself. Any other, even if it's a very small amount of like outdoor merchandising or other sort of promotional materials you can just put outside that doesn't take up a lot of space. All those things kind of communicate openness. You could also have like music playing outside, or that you could hear outside, so if people are walking by, especially with that door open, that communicates that people are, that it's an establishment that's open for business. And then what's your windows like? What do people see when they look through the windows?
I have one very small window that is literally tinted. And I put open signs in there, but you can still barely see like the signage in the window because it's so tinted.
Yeah. Is there anything that you could do, or the landlord will let you do along your, like on your storefront, for signage or other color via paint or something like that, to provide some other kind of like visual interest or framing of that window or framing of the door?
I think he might let us paint it. I'm not really sure on that.
Paint is a very good, low cost, high impact feature. And so that could be a great way to, adding color. Color is always something that communicates vitality, openness, invitation. Yeah. Oh yeah, but also, providing a little stool for people to sit outside if they're waiting. I mean, people, I know you want customers to patronize it, but having people visible outside also communicates that. How about questions from others? Bob, Yesenia, is there anything? Brian, is there anything we could do for you all right now? Any questions that are on your mind?
The only question I have is, we have a rear entrance, and we
Mhm.
have a lot of people who park in the back. We have a back parking lot and a rear entrance, and we have people who park in the rear parking lot and then walk all the way around the building to go in our front door.
Mhm.
How to make a rear entrance look better?
Yeah. Well, I think some of these similar concepts can be used there to, again, like make sure those desire lines are really strong, that you're framing up that entryway to look like it's a main entryway. Usually, there's lots of things communicate entry. So you can have like color around, or like covering, like awnings, grade changes, other sort of framing around it, whether it's through material or color. Also being able to, if the door, I don't know if the back door has a window in it that can see into and communicate that there's merchandise back there, or if there's other windows in the back that also let people see in that that there's stuff on the other side, and it's not just like storage back there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's windowless, and there's not going to be any windows back there.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a block window, but that's we're not gonna swap that out, I don't think.
Yeah. Also signage. Yeah.
Entrances too are a great opportunity to tap that surprise and delight whereas front entrances can be sometimes the more formal face you present to the community. Back entrances are a chance to let loose a little bit, maybe. So whether that's through color or a way that your signage communicates something a little sillier, like cool people entrance only type thing. It's a chance to show a little bit of your business's personality, I think.
Okay.
Hey, Brian,
Alright.
quick question. Have you guys ever had the Charlie Brown outside on the sidewalk, or has it always been right inside the front window?
We had it outside a number of years ago. It, and due to, we'd move it outside during the summer months, and then we move it back in during the winter months. It became a little too tough to maintain the paint and whatnot. And that, so we decided to make it a welcoming right inside the front door. We have them both right inside the front door now, and a nice display right there. To make it so that once they come in the front door, like the kids are like, oh, there they are, So it's kind of something where we decided to bring it just inside the front door, so we could have control over the elements and the whatever, that we could keep the paint job going as long as we could, or whereas outside it would get wrecked, or it would get not wrecked, but it would experience damage faster,
Well, and that might be a great thing to promote outside, that like, even if they're inside, that like that's something you can entice people in by promoting that unique features within your business.
Yeah, we have them right in our front window, so it's about as close as they can get, and we have a nice big window space in the front. So, we have it right out there. I think we're doing a pretty good job, without actually putting anything outside the business. I think we're doing an okay job up there. One of the things we do that I just thought about today before I, didn't even think about, where I just happened to cross my mind, is we put a lot of our clearance merchandise towards the front of the store, just because that's the only place where people are going to see it. It kind of junks it up a little bit, but if we put our clearance merchandise in the back, nobody would ever see it. So there's it's one of those one of those little things where the stuff that people are coming for specifically, that they know they're coming for before they even drive to our store, we have that towards the back because they're going to go to that. And and then we put the clearance stuff towards the front of the store, so they happen to see it. It makes it's a cost benefit thing where it maybe looks the front of the store look a little not as nice, because our clearance stuff is kind of just it's, I don't want to say odds and ends, but it's not, it's not a focused, it's just a rounder with a bunch of random things on it, and or a table with random things on it. So it's not as pretty as some of our displays of our focused items. But on the other hand, if we put, like I said, if we put in the back of the store, nobody's ever going to see it. So
it sounds like those could be great opportunities to maybe have some outdoor merchandise there to animate your storefront, or also communicate in the back lot that's your entrance. So, well, we're at our time, 7 o'clock. I just want to end with thank you all again for your time, your contributions to Payne Avenue. Encourage you to sign up for an additional 1-hour consultation where we'll come to you and we'll visit in person and then tour your storefront and help you activate those spaces even more. So thank you again, DSNDC, and we look forward to collaborating with you all to bring more vitality to your businesses in Payne Avenue in the weeks and months to come.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about signing up.
Okay. Thank you.